Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please. Kiss me.
Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the ultimate Cage cast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. My name is Linda, but this week you can call me, I guess, a Squidbilly Cheese.
You are a squid. That's what they call you on that submarine you're all on.
Yeah, shut up, you jarhead.
Don't you call me a jarhead unless you want to see what happens. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to make you sleep with my wife. I'll tell you what.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're going to have to bang it to her. That's what happens.
That sure showed me.
Yeah, and I'm Donnie, or Southern Fried Homicide.
Yeah. Why are we laughing like this? Because this week we covered Grand Isle. So just some quick data. Grand Isle is directed by Stephen S. Campanelli, who's usually behind the camera. And if you look up his credits, he has got a lot of fucking work with camera and lighting or electrical. Excuse me. But in fact, like he pretty much made history by coming up with like this camera technique. Yeah, a doohickey, if you will. That's the technical term. I don't want to lose people. But apparently he was the first to, according to IMDb, the first to combine a camera operating and Steadicam. And he's basically changed the history of camera work, I guess. Camera work? That doesn't seem...
Photography.
Yeah, that's the one. See, I may be high on pain pills. Just ignore me. But yeah, he's got a shit ton of credits for camera and electrical work.
How far the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. You got to hear this. Okay, so he's worked on Congo. Amy, beautiful.
Oh, Amy. Ugly.
No. Damn it. He's worked in the cinematic masterpiece Home Alone 3. But he's also worked in Time Cop. Oh. And Ernest Goes to School.
Oh,
Wait.
Wait, no. That's one of the straight to videos. Oh God.
He's only worked on the classics. But as far as being a director goes, he only has 7 credits under his name. When he directed Grand Isle, he only had 4 under his belt. Wow. But speaking of inexperience, this is also written by Ivor William Jala. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He also has 4 credits under his name for director and 5 for writer. But this was his first writing project, Grand Isle. So not that it shows.
At all.
And also this was written by Rich Ronat, which sounds like a character.
It does.
It looks like he's mostly an actor, but this is his second writing project. So what do you get with a bunch of inexperienced writers and directors? Grand Isle.
Yeah, and Kelsey Grammer.
And introducing Kelsey Grammer. I actually have that in my notes. When anything says "and Kelsey Grammer," you know you're in for a treat.
Yeah, he just It's kind of funny because as much as people have said in reviews that Nick Cage just doesn't care anymore with all these movies he does, Kelsey Grammer is just like the most beautiful, I don't give a fuck actor. He really does not give a fuck, and he lets it be known.
Now, I have a good friend who I made before getting into podcasting, and he had a podcast called The Frasier Files. What up, Derek? And I really, really wanted Derek on for this episode, but I fucked up and I forgot that Kelsey Grammer was in this until just a couple minutes ago. And of course, it's too late. But maybe we can have him on a retrospective.
That's fair.
But
yeah,
I feel like if anybody can comment on the career of Kelsey Grammer, it would be my friend Derek. So.
I mean, they're barely in the movie, and even when they are in the movie, they're just Hammy McHammerson, and they don't really leave much of an impression past doing everything wrong you could do as a sheriff.
Why did you kill her, Bart?
Yeah, exactly. It's like not even Sideshow Bob worthy. He's just like, I think you slept with this guy's hot wife and then got in an altercation and then just killed a man because he was there at the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's like, oh, what's that? Your wife is outside? Good. Bring her in here. I want her to see this.
You want a call? You want a lawyer? Fuck that. We don't play
that's
the laws
big
here.
fancy talk. You're calling your lawyer.
This ain't the big city.
Yeah, you're going to butt-fuck penitentiary tomorrow.
And just to make sure of it, I'm going to break you in.
Yeah, I'm going to break you in half.
Wait, what's that? He might not have done it?
Hold
up,
I ain't going to apologize. You think this is the city where folks apologize?
This ain't no big city. Boy, this is Louisiana.
Can you explain what the fuck this movie was about? Because it took me a while.
Who the fuck knows? So this younger gentleman, Buddy, played by Luke Benward. He decided that he needs money, and his wife just had a baby that's just a couple months old.
Yeah, baby's sick.
Baby's sick.
And the wife's sick because they ain't had the marinals in 6 months.
Because she don't feel attractive ever since she had that baby.
Yeah, she don't feel that sexy.
My poon don't feel right, honey.
It's just a mess down there, sugar. It's like a minefield during a hurricane.
Speaking of hurricanes, so he's just trying to find work to help support his family, and he finds work fixing up a fence for Cage's character, and the fence is down because somebody tried to rob him and tried to run away, but Cage shot him and said, "Boy, you robbed the wrong house."
Yeah.
And he shot him and then kept him prisoner, question mark?
Dun, dun, dun.
I was never really clear on that, but I did like how you heard over the news that this kid was last seen wearing a black tracksuit with white stripe. Yeah. So people saw him on his way out to like rob somebody. Like, what the fuck? He goes to fix the fence and seems to ignore the fact that some of the posts have blood on them. And it's like, oh well. And why is he so distracted? Because Cage's wife brings her hot ass out, and she's like, "A man."
Well, yeah, but technically it's only because she came out in lingerie for their anniversary and her husband was drunk with sunglasses on, sitting in his chair asleep.
Passed out.
And she's refilling his drink. And she's like, I'm such a lucky lady. It's like, oh my God, you're passed out. Wake up, asshole.
Eat a dick.
Yeah, speaking of dick.
Yeah, then she's like, you're not a real man anymore. You don't do shit around the house, and you don't do me. You ain't no man. And then he's like, bitch, don't be talking shit on me, or else I might beat the shit out of you. And then, I don't know why he sounds like Dr. Phil now.
Yeah.
Abusive Dr. Phil, I'm going to eat your baby.
Wait till the face off.
But then she said, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and hit me. At least be a real man. And may I take this moment to say that real men don't hit their wives or women at all?
Yeah.
Hell of a message, fancy. Yeah, so she's not getting it from him. And he's not getting it. The young man isn't getting it from his wife because she's wrecked down there. So they're both horny. And she comes out. She's like, would you like some iced tea?
Now, to be fair, she's like, I brought some iced tea because I thought you might want some because it's so hot and you're working. And then she like licks her lips and looks at him and is like, you want some? And then 10 seconds later, it's like, tea. Do you want some tea? It's like,
it's like pouring it on herself in like a white dress.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
But she's trying to make her husband, Nicolas Cage, into a cuck.
She really, really is. And the guy hits his thumb with a hammer because he has to look at her ass as she wiggles away.
It's a dumbass.
He really is. But it's even funnier when Nick Cage gets really jealous about this and about him getting a Band-Aid on his boo-boo. Because Nick Cage decides, you know what? This is a perfect time while this man, who I'm paying $250, if he can finish building 7 feet of fence in 8 hours before a hurricane, I'm going to put
down to 40.
Yeah, 245. Yeah. And he's like, I think this is a perfect time to start lining up beer bottles on the fence post beside you and then just nonchalantly walk up on top of my roof and start shooting these bottles beside you.
I like that he didn't seem to think anything of it when he's lining the bottles up on the fence beside him.
And the guy, he's just like, oh, that's kind of weird, I guess. But all right, there's going to be a hurricane. Those bottles are going to come flying off. But oh my God, you're shooting them.
But that brings me to another good question. They have such an amazing house, which we find out that she inherited from her grandparents. But they obviously have money. So why the fuck is he drinking PBR?
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Back in college, we used to have, when we had bring your own beer parties, because, we were poor, we would have PBR as a punishment for those who did not bring their own beer.
Oh, I know. But even our uncle, as much as he made as an electrician and working at the Boys and Girls Club, he only ever through his life drinks PBR. He never drinks anything else.
Stone.
Oh, it was Old Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's all he drinks, period. He could drink anything else, but no, it's a choice. But people also think Rolling Rock is the greatest thing under the sun, and I disagree. But the thing that was really weird about Cage, and it felt more like he was having a flashback to Primal and would have fit better in that, was after he shoots the last bottle next to the kid, Buddy starts cussing him up and down, He's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. And he just stares at him, and then he goes like, there you are.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, you wanted him this pissed off to see what he would do when he rages, I guess?
Yeah.
But then he's like, he doesn't do anything. He just takes his work even slower.
Yeah, he's like working on the same part of fence for like hours, like not getting anything done. And then he, like, we should say in the beginning, it starts off with these Girl Scouts coming to their door trying to sell them cookies, and she goes, why, if you aren't the prettiest little girl I ever seen.
And then like,
the kids are like,
danger.
Yeah, the kids are like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They run away, and she didn't get her fucking cookies. They just took off with their money. But
Well, that's what Girl Scouts do. Like
on
leprechauns,
my
you gotta
honor,
catch 'em.
I will try to rip off as many people as possible for God and my
way.
Speaking of which, we saw another recently saw another Cage movie alum, Michael Biehn in Mandalore.
Yeah. Disney is just flashing at this point that they own the Alien franchise because they keep putting it inside the goddamn Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we have. But speaking of Deadfall, this apparently was the second movie of Cage's to get a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's deserved. It's deserved.
Not a lot of love for this one. Although
I wonder why.
I don't know. We were talking about it earlier, and I shared that Carlo helped me come up with the phrase that it's not a shit sandwich, but it's also not a grilled cheese.
Yeah. The more I thought about that, the more it made sense to just say, you made a sandwich with, I can't believe it's not shit. And you're like, well, what is it then? It's like, well, it's not shit, but it's kind of brown and soggy. I'd like to know what this is.
Yeah, the on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 0% on the tomato meter and 53% audience score. So with 83 ratings. So
and it was weird. There were not a lot of bad reviews for this on Amazon. People loved it. Or they just said, well, it's an okay movie for what it is. And I'm like, well, what is it? Because this movie does so many flip-flops. And then they just, over a radio announcement as the movie ends, they tell you somewhat the extent of what happened.
yeah,
And that's just what makes
weird.
this weirder because, goddamn, it's like, okay, so the only thing I thought was really kind of hilarious, though it's been done to death in so many movies, and Breaking Bad did perfectly, Buddy can't go home because, oh gosh darn, it's too late, there's a hurricane a-coming, and his car won't start, so he has to have a most awkward dinner with a married couple that hate each other. And she has to ask, it's like, how long have you and your girl been married? It's like, isn't that nice to see a man who cares for his wife and their kid and how much he loves them? And Nick Cage has and Cage has to like bitch about it. He's like, what's so sweet about someone meeting their true love in 6th grade? Like, you decided to settle on sex. Yeah, you decided on sex the rest of your life with one woman. Like, that's just bullshit.
You ever got your dick sucked?
Yeah. And it's just the whole time this shit's going on, the guy's just literally eating like green beans. He's just like, I'm just trying to eat these beanies, man. That's all I'm trying to do.
Which was confusing because like she's making soup and then the next scene they're eating meatloaf and green beans.
Yeah.
Did we miss the soup course? Or what is happening?
Apparently. But they have this. and she shows him to his room, which suddenly turns from, oh, here's your room, to, oh, hey, have you ever wanted to like bang an old lady? And if not, well, I want to bang young dudes. Want to hear about what I do when I'm thinking about it? He's like, no, ma'am, I would not like to hear about it. It's like, well, too bad. You're going to hear about it.
I'm going to tell you about my fantasies.
She kind of molests him. Yep. And I can't remember because I kind of like had a spasm in my brain. But did her shoe have the mystical power of Cougar to just like kick off his pants button?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like, wow, because when they showed that, like she gets the stiletto and like pops off his buttons of his pants with like no effort. And I was like, wow, they're magic.
They are. It's the power of Cougar. Because I was like, how is she doing this? And then she's like, okay, I'll let you go. Ha ha ha, that was fun. She goes to have a lay down in the tub, and Nick Cage drunkenly decides, hey man, I thought your kid is sick and you could use money and your wife's not happy. Here's $22,000 if you kill my wife.
Yeah, like, you could use this cyanide. I just happen to have.
You use the cyanide I carry just for funsies. And it's like, I don't know. Murder's wrong. He's like, oh, she's got blood cancer. And it's like, it's really bad, man. It's
just
blood
don't look
cancer.
in the basement.
Yeah, it's terminal bloody cancer, and you can't come back from that. I want her not to suffer. So
I think it's in her cooch.
Yeah, and it's the funniest thing because he's like, I don't want her to suffer, so just this will be really painless. All you gotta do is sneak up to her, punch her in the face, and put the cloth over her nose. I'm like, wait, you said painless. It's like that's startlingly painful. That's the opposite of what you're asking,
just beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
and I want you to say Kevin Kline sends his regards, and then you knock her out.
Yeah.
Eugene Levy sends his regards.
For some odd reason, he just decides, well, okay, I guess it's all right if it's, ending her suffering. Lord likes that type of stuff.
And I do need that money.
Yeah, and he decides to go upstairs, and then she sees him, and she's like, oh, hey, look at this scar on my leg. Got when I was 11 years old. Want a bone? And he's like, I don't know what happened.
To stab me.
Yeah. He's like, if I even farted at the table, my mom would stab me. And then it cuts to Kelsey Grammer judging Buddy. And Buddy's like, look, man, I ain't proud of it, but she seduced me with her childhood talkings. And I ain't had maritals with my wife in 6 months, man. So I gave in and she seduced me. Like, okay, sure.
Doings.
Yeah, it's like, all right, sure, whatever. And she just reacts like any woman would, where after having sex and dressing, she finds the bottle of cyanide and then goes, oh, hey, what's this? It's like, oh, that? Nothing.
Do you have cancer?
Yeah, he's like, do you have a blood cancer, a terminal disease or anything? It's like
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I feel okay. It's like, oh gosh darn. And it's like, that's when he goes up and tells her. It's like, oh, them old Duke boy Nick Cage, he's up to no good. He's trying to kill you.
Then she finds Nick Cage and she goes, oh, you silly boy.
Yeah, and stabs him with a fucking knife in the hand. So Nick Cage and Squidward start fighting, and they end up restraining Cage, and then the wife goes from that into crazy gear, where she starts like
use this time to say that the wife's name is Fancy.
Yes, her name is literally Fancy.
Bam.
And she decides that she has to be crazy now. So she starts honking Buddy's junk and tells him, I want you to bang me right here in front of my husband so I can look him in the eyes when you make me come. He's like, oh, gosh, I don't know about this lady. She's like, come on, you coomer, let's do it. Then Nick Cage is like, she's crazy, man. Just don't ask her about the basement. She got a lot of secrets. Buddy's like, well... Yeah, Buddy's like, what about the basement? She's like, oh, don't worry about that. Let's go. Let's leave this house, sugar. Like, I kind of want to see the basement. Like, you don't want to go to that basement, Buddy. Don't ever go in that basement. It's bad. He's like, I kind of want to go now. So he decides, yeah, so he decides to open up the basement, and she's like, I got to shoot you now, Buddy. He's like, oh, my God, you crazy cougar.
Yep.
That's when he discovers a teenage boy that was possibly the guy that tried robbing them and is now their prisoner.
And he said, there are many more like me.
Yes. And then him and Cage get into some altercations because the waifu decides to let her cuck go free, and they start
find out
arguing.
that it's like part of a plan?
Yes.
Said, like, you didn't have to stab me so hard in the hand. And I'm like,
yeah, it's like, you didn't have to tell me about the basement either. I was trying to explain this to Lucille as well, because I had a lot of role play questions later in the movie to make sense of things. And I told her it's kind of like a really fucked up swingers couple where they play this whole game of, oh, I don't like my husband. He can't get it up at all. And even if he could, it's so little. It ain't done nothing for me. And it's like, oh, I'm a young strapping boy, and I'm hung to my knees. Let's go get the band.
Green beans.
Yes, I eat my green beans. And Nick Cage eats it off in the closet while he watches some guy ramming his wife. Oh, yeah, this one does in our marriage. And,
oh, yeah, call me a jarhead. Call me a jarhead.
yeah. And it's like, it's just weird swinger shit, but the movie keeps twisting and turning, because the whole time that Kelsey Grammer, or Officer Grammer, is talking to Buddy, he's making it sound like Dr. maybe Fraser he killed Nick Cage and his wife.
Sheriff Fraser Crane.
Yes, Sheriff Fraser Crane decides, you killed this person. You're like, oh my God, did he kill Nick Cage's wife? What happened? But then there's a twist. The guy finds this teenage dude. He's trying to escape with him. He gets knocked out, wakes up the next day in his truck, and the teen kid is dead. And then cops are pulling up behind him. So then you're like, oh. It's like they set him up for the murder of that guy. So they're actually really wicked, evil people. So after Kelsey Grammer decides he's murdered everyone.
She's got like a ton of like voodoo dolls around, but that never comes
Oh my God, yeah. Well, no, it kind of does.
To do with it? How do you figure?
Nothing to do with any of it at all. Okay. Except they mention over the radio at the end briefly about it. And this is why I had questions about what the fuck was going on. Because, long story short, the cops think Buddy killed this guy. He's trying to tell them, look in that family's basement. And Kelsey Grammer's like, you'll just say anything at this point. And he's like, yeah, well, I found a piece of cloth with Chinese characters on it. It's like, whatever. You're just trying to bring in racism. Then suddenly Lady Cop, who's like the smartest person there, is like, wait a minute, there was a lady missing who had a dress.
Lady Cop.
Yes, Lady Cop. So they find this lady was wearing a red dress with Chinese characters on it, and Mr. Kelsey Grammer is like, hey, is this that cloth you're talking about? You found this kid clutching? He's like, why, yes, officer, this is the exact thing I saw. So he decides to say, my God, we need to look at that house. So they go off to the house, and Nick Cage and his wife are still there because apparently they felt just having Buddy in his truck with a dead body was enough that they wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, you would think that they'd be like, okay, well, let's clean out the basement now.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting them to have the entire basement cleaned out or sealed off. Yeah. Something.
And when they come, they're like, oh, sure, go ahead and look in our house. It's fine. And so I was thinking, okay, so they cleaned it out. Nope.
Even that bothered the piss out of me because Fancy shot 3 times at Buddy. So obviously there would have had to have been some like bullet holes in the wood there, and they should have been able to see this. But then here's the part that came in where I had to do some role playing, and I've been asking people this in my chat all day to get their perspective, where put yourself in the shoes of a police officer. You have 3 other officers with you. You enter a suspect's home, you find there are 2 of them. So you have to do some math here. You have to decide you cannot arrest these people or hold them in your car until you have official evidence to put them under arrest. So you have to have 2 people watching them while 2 people search the house. 2 cops go to the basement and they don't come back. They don't make a sound. Now, if you were a smart cop, but then again, this is the deep, deep South, apparently, so walkie-talkies don't exist.
Yeah.
They don't communicate.
They're not the big city.
Yeah, so female cop goes peering down the hallway at the door. She's like, where are they? Nobody's here. I'm going to go take a look down in the fucking basement. So she leaves 1 cop behind, and then she goes to the basement. And then she doesn't come back. She doesn't come back. And then the last cop looks down there like, maybe I should go in the basement. But then Fancy's like, surprise, bitch. And her and Walter end up knocking him out. And Nick Cage does the ultimate, I'm going to be right back, I need to take a pee, by leaving in their car. Yeah, let me get some cigarettes, babe. I'll be right back. He leaves in his car and takes off. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, we see the female cop. She's down in the basement. It's a huge basement with really expensive doors and concrete blocks. And she knocks on a door, and a woman starts screaming. Then other people start screaming, banging on their doors. And she's like, oh my God, there's multiple people here. And Fancy's screaming because Nick Cage left her. And goddamn.
Yeah, she's kind of going crazy.
Yeah, and she already was kind of cray-cray.
Yeah, a little bit.
But one of the funniest things we skipped over, I really don't want to because it's just so brief, but God, is it fucking hilarious. You have Buddy telling Officer Graham about how he banged this cougar lady and how he was so upset that he did it, but her feminine wiles got the better of his junk. So then Buddy's wife shows up, and Kelsey Grammer is like, oh, his wife's here? Good, bring her in. And female cop was like, what? We don't do that. It's like, well, we do now because this ain't the big city. We're going to bring her on
this
in.
Ain't the weird city.
And he like immediately tells her, he's like snickering. He's like, why don't you ask your husband about what he's been up to or who he's been up to? And it's like his wife goes from, well, what happened? It's like, well, how'd you know I was here? She's like, you didn't show up, so I called the police. I'm like, wow, she's a smart lady. And like, and they told me you were here. It's like, oh, they think I murdered someone. She's like, oh my God, you murder someone? That never could happen. And then she drops it to say, hey, what was that officer talking about? Some lady outside? It's like, do you know her?
That you had an affair with?
Yeah, it's like, she just never even says that. She just says, like, did you know her? How did you know her? Starts crying and then decides, I'm leaving, buddy, and I ain't coming back. It's like, oh, but baby, let me explain. And then after they find all these people in the basement, Kelsey Grammer comes back and goes, you're free to go. He's like, well, what'd you find? It's like, you were accusing me of murder, ready to kill me, and you need to apologize. This ain't the big city. We don't apologize. Like, just go home. So he goes home just in time to see his wife loading up the truck with their baby. And she's like,
I was surprised when the lady cop was saying we need to get a warrant. I was surprised that he go, this ain't the big city. We don't need no warrant.
Right? Like, he easily could have just done that, but no. He's like, I know that, Judge. We go drinking tea on Sundays.
Just Judge Warren with the warrant.
Yes, we got a warrant from Judge Warren, a Warren warrant. So his wife takes off with their kid. He doesn't even get to explain anything to her. She's just like, I'm going to my sister's. Don't follow. And like, I think a few months later or a few weeks later, they don't really say. 2 weeks later, Buddy's having soup at a diner, and then Nick Cage appears firing his gun outside. He's dressed in his army fatigues.
How did he get it? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. But
I guess it was in the car.
It's basically he's recreating the original ending from Rambo. And he's just out there dressed like this. And Buddy talks him into taking him hostage because, big surprise, Nick Cage has Buddy's wife hostage. So they do this. He gets Buddy to admit he was a coward, not a hero. And Nick Cage gets super sad and depressed because he wants his wife, but they tell him, even if we wanted to give her to you, we can't because she's in a loony bin. It's like, oh no, stupid small town, not big city, can't do nothing. So then Nick Cage decides, I'm going out in suicide style. So he starts shooting at the cops so they'll kill him. And that's it. And then to wrap all this bullshit up, you have a radio giving you more questions that really don't need answers, but you really want answers too, which is they say that they had multiple men and women that they held in their basement and were forcing to have sex to conceive a child.
Yeah.
And that the wife had practiced magic to help aid in this.
Oh,
and
I missed that part.
I guess power of seduction or some shit. They don't explain, but I'm just like, I don't know if I'm a horrible human being or not. I really think I am, but I wanted to know, were they separately raping them? Like the woman rapes the men and Nick Cage rapes the women and she's trying to conceive a child, or Nick Cage will make them a child? Or are they forcing the men and women to have sex to conceive a child? Because the wife
also find out that the Girl Scouts were missing, and I'm like, well, why the fuck did they take the Girl Scouts and when? They ran away.
Even that's just where it gets really convoluted because they're kind of using the Girl Scouts as a two thing, where it's like they kidnap them, but they don't show it. But at the same time, it's trying to establish that she's so baby crazy. And she even mentions, I think at one point, that she can't have children or some such.
Yeah, she says, I'm not medically able to have no children.
So then I'm like, oh my God, okay. So
not like in the big city.
Yes, it's like her fields were barren and his seed born. But that's why I just started laughing alone in the dark watching this, because I really wanted to know and kept asking myself, like, were they raping these people or were they forcing them to fuck each other? I think they were
forcing them to fuck each other. But then why that one guy was not in the basement, I don't know.
Maybe he's like, I don't want you using my dick for these nefarious purposes. I don't know. But they were keeping them all in separate rooms. So I don't know.
I don't know.
It's really, 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 really bizarre and just kind of thrown out there as kind of a, isn't this wicked how fucked up they are? But also we're going to throw in black magic because we showed you that the wife is crazy and has voodoo dolls of people we don't know, but could be people in the basement, I guess.
Well, I'd understand if like the wife was like kidnapped the little girls and was pretending that they were their kids, but like they didn't really show any of that, and they could have just left that part out completely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But I mean, it's even the same thing with I think if you go back and watch when Nick Cage sees there's an outline of, I think, his button that she had picked off with her shoe on the ground. I think she picked up one of the buttons. And the idea is that maybe she used that to start making a voodoo doll of him, which maybe would explain why he decided to succumb to her charms in the bathtub. And it's just, there's so much shit that's just really kind of left out. But I hated it. I really hated it. Because it didn't make sense. It kind of just decided to be one twist after another twist. And then they wrap everything up and realize, oh, we don't have an ending. So they do a voiceover to give an ending. And then that makes you go even more, what did I just watch?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like Peter Griffin when he filmed his version of Steel Magnolias. And he called it Steel Vaginas. Yeah. And he talked about how everyone was sad because the main character was dying of a rotten vagina.
Yes.
And that was his only take on Steel Magnolias.
Well, and I forgot to mention when Cage offers him the money to kill his wife, it's just $20,000 in a bag. And I don't know why, but I thought that the face on the money was Kelsey Grammer.
It could have been.
So, I think he might have been offering him $20,000 or 20,000 Kelsey Grammer bucks.
Kelsey
Grammer
Grams. That's how small town their town is. They don't use American money. They use Kelsey Grams.
Grammar bucks.
Then you just have like a still photo of him from Frasier smiling at a side profile on there. It's like in Frasier we trust. But I was like, I don't think this money's good, Mr. Walter.
What are you talking about? You can buy plenty with that. But that will get you. That'll get you a freezer
Civil War happens.
Do you know how many men I had to kill for this money?
Oh, sweet Jesus.
These grams.
Which even that bothered me. All the guns they had around that house, but they all seem to only have like one bullet each inside them. I'm like, okay, sure. But then it's like seeing shit like that and then remembering that, like I recently was reminded because I need to have an electrician come by here. Every electrician I've had come by here in the past 4 years, I've had to tell them, and they don't believe me, that there is no indoor electrical panel in this house. There's only the downstairs. And they all look at me like, you are lying. It has to be here. No, there's nothing. There's no panel in the wall. Nothing.
I know.
But then I recently was reminded by our mom that the painters who fixed this house, they built a false wall covering the doorway that this man who made this house had. This man was a survivalist, and there is somewhere in my closet a slim passageway that goes all around this house that has a gun rack inside there, several gun racks, and an electric panel access.
Wait, I didn't see that.
Yes.
When I was there.
So, yeah. So we now have to hire someone to come in here, excavate the fake wall so we can get into that area. And I'm going to be live streaming it because I'm just like, what the fuck and what tales will this tell when we uncover it? Like I actually have
an old man in there like, you finally came.
Yes, it's like you chose wisely.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying my hardest to gather up every Cage movie we've watched so I can put them in there so that the next time when we move out of this place, we're going to seal up with bricks that wall. And when people discover it, I want them to find in a cobweb-covered room all these Nick Cage movies.
The last remaining copy of The Boy in Blue.
Everywhere. Yeah, it's got like melted down candles and bottles of ancient wine. It's all gonna be like Night Train wine and Boone's Farm wine.
Boone's Farm, yeah, blue.
Yeah.
We'll treat it like a time capsule.
Exactly.
I don't know what Adrian wants to add, but probably some silver bullet or whatever that was.
On top of the chest we'll use that'll hold like a lock of hair. We'll make it look like it's Nick Cage's hair. We're going to put a Cage's Kiss sticker on there just so that people can like blow it off dramatically and rub it and go, Cage's Kiss? It's like, what is this?
And we'll have to leave like really odd historical like clues to its location.
Like, see, we're gonna go and visit the Declaration of Independence, and we're gonna buy one of the copies, and then we're gonna like frame it in a dollar store frame and put it on the wall, so people go, "Oh my god!"
And we'll get some 3D glasses.
Yes. And we're going to get an old paddle from a paddle boat from The Boy Who Blew. We're going to put it on display. Or better yet, we're going to get like ass grease that they used on the seats for that. And we're going to have little remade props from all of his films and lined up the walls with it. That way they can contact Nick Cage when they find this and unearth it. And then they can contact us about it.
Yeah, if anybody has the first print of the was it the Detective Comics?
Yeah.
Or action.
Nick Cage's hair and or blood. Let us know. We have a use for this.
Heck, no reason.
Yeah. Ignore everything we just ranted about.
So I guess we go into my segment.
Yes.
I want his clothes off. Clothes off. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the Frasier nudity, but
yeah, he could have whipped it out during the investigation. Does that intimidate you?
Now you finally get to see my Frasier crane.
Yeah, that's why they call me Big Iron.
But alas, we got to see approximately one boob.
Yeah,
that is all. Approximately. From above.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Did you say you weren't able to find any
I did some
reviews?
digging.
Okay.
I did some deep digging. And I found some.
I'm gonna keep eating my donut my little donut while you're talking.
Oh, please do, because some of these are very short. That's why there's at least 4 of these. But they're kind of fun. So I live in Grand Isle, and it has nothing about the town it was supposedly about. Stupidest movie I ever wasted my money on. Love Cage, okay. But legitimately one of the worst movies I've ever seen. How do I begin to describe how unsatisfying Grand Isle is? I am so confused.
I love the person who's upset because it has nothing to do with Grand Isle.
Yeah, like, I live in Grand Isle. This has nothing to do with it. Like, well, we are sorry, sir.
Okay, sorry.
He's a vet living in the South and tries to get his fence fixer to kill his wife. But not really, because she's into black magic and they are in it together, and there's a sailor in the basement. Oh, and his wife kidnapped Girl Scouts. That's
sailor in the basement.
Yes. And the longest review we have, because these were so short.
I think that guy we did.
Yeah, he really did. He captured it so beautifully. Trying to be a low-rent, body heat style Southern Gothic noir, but lacks basic narrative competence. It is a series of twists, none of which ever make anything we have seen before make sense. The plot fizzles out in the 4th act, so the 5th act suddenly shifts to being the original ending to First Blood and has no real connection to what we saw previously. I know Cage needs money, so that explains his presence in this film and most movies. But Kelsey Grammer is hamming it up as well. It is also set in 1980s for no real reason. KaDee Strickland does a fine job in his horrible movie and deserves better. But yeah, I never even knew it took place in the 80s.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, they didn't have any cell phones, but so I guess
they did it, but there was nothing like really putting it there. I mean, but even then, it's like the car that Nick Cage is driving is a Cobra Mustang, and that's a bit later in the 80s, the style at least that he was driving. But I would have
thought maybe like the 90s.
Yeah, at least 90s, late 90s, maybe. But it's because even like for this to take place in the 80s and Nicolas Cage to supposedly be a Vietnam vet.
Oh, yeah.
But even then, it's like dude is not young at all.
Mm-mm.
But I mean,
no, he's in his he's almost in his 60s. He's in his late 50s now, so I can't do math. Fuck that. I'm
Because it's
on
not the
pain pills.
big city trying to do your math on this movie.
In a big city. We ain't
What
like
the
that,
fuck you
Grandile.
doing?
But I mean, it sounds like the kid went to Desert Storm, so I don't know. I would think the 90s, but whatever. It does.
Well,
it
just...
really, truly doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. No. But yeah. Sorry. Did you have any more?
Oh God, no.
I forgot to mention that this was filmed entirely in Louisiana,
Which
is one of Cage's homes away from home. And also the budget was reported to be $5 million. I'm sure most of that went to Cage and to Kelsey Grammer. Yeah. I hope KaDee Strickland got some decent enough payout. But then, okay, so all I could find was the domestic video sales, so Blu-ray and DVD, which was $1,781.
God damn.
So at first I was like, that can't be right. And then I was like, well,
I'll give you this money if you see my movie.
But then I also realized, like, I got it on Amazon, where I had the option of renting it for $3.99 or for $2 more. I could buy it. I could buy the HD movie for $5.99. So
Which made me glad you didn't purchase it on my Voodoo.
Hoodoo?
Voodoo, that voodoo.
No, I don't want to support Walmart. Fuck them. But do you feel ready for Adrian, even though he's still on the other side of the veil? Do you want to cover Adrian's segment?
Well,
it's time for sequel, prequel, whatever, return more
fucking Adrian's shit. Yeah. Harder. Oh God.
Or in the great words of Fancy, harder.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Okay. In this prequel, Walter and Fancy are just newly married and moving into their dream house. But when a run-in with a meth addict and a combine harvester wreak ravage on their home, things quickly fall apart. Literally. The couple are short on funds and short on patience. Adding to this sad mishap is the sadness of Fancy slipping in the shower and landing on a bottle of Baby Batter Blaster Defiler, which renders her womb a mess, hurting their chances of conceiving a child.
Whoopsie.
So the couple put their heads together and began a town-wide campaign to ease their financial woes and help build a family from their community. Enlisting the help of local teens and handymen, they promised sexual favors with Fancy and Walter in trade for working on their home. They soon become the talk of the town, until the upright minister of the Never Gonna Get It ministry decides to step in and stop these marital shenanigans. But the town will unite together and do all they can to show this ministry that Walter and Fancy are good upstanding citizens, helping the town with their honest, free fornication and open marriage practices while bringing no offense to the Lord Jesus. Buena Vista and Disney proudly present A Home of Our Own, starring Ralph Fiennes as Walter, Denise Crosby as Fancy, and Randy Quaid starring as Father Touch Up My Puddin'.
That almost sounds like it could be Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
It almost really is. I mean, this movie really does teeter on that. I mean, there is magic.
Magic moment.
Oh, Jesus God. Oh.
My sequel, Return More Harder, is going to be a prequel this time. Oh, Jesus Christ. My dog just farted and it's terrible. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God damn it. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, die. Big city farting dog.
God, why?
It's like, our dogs here, they make our eyes water when they fart, but we like it.
We push it out of them.
Yeah, we just bend down and sniff it from the sauce. That's how much we don't mind it.
We feed them rotten eggs.
That's
if
right.
we don't put them up their bum bumps.
That's right. If you ain't smelling rotten eggs, broken dreams, and asparagus, you ain't feeding your dog.
Oh, sweet Jesus. My prequel is basically going to be Xandalee.
All right, that works.
And Cage doesn't die.
Oh my God.
Because he's in Louisiana and he's still got like the strong Xandalee look going on.
Oh.
And in this version, he ends up marrying Xandalee, and Xandalee is now barren, and so she gets into black magic.
Oh my God.
And yeah, he hasn't actually seen war, but because he ended up killing his best friend, he just went crazy, and he believes that he went to Nam.
Well, I kind of like the idea that she's a witch. I like the idea that she's a witch and that maybe she drew the black rose of fate on his hand.
Yeah.
And that was like a magical charm sealing him to her.
See?
So he's been stuck with her for years and years and years. And that's why he laments her so much.
Yeah. And when she said that he met her in a jazz club singing, like that was bullshit. Like he met her when he came to see his friend.
He met her at their local town satanic ritual one night.
Yeah. And it was true love.
Yeah.
And she was just acting like she didn't want the tension between her or him and Judge Reinhold, but really she was just like using him for nefarious purposes. And then like they ended up like she used her vagina magic to get him to fall in love with her.
Yeah. It's kind of like a really dumb version of Let the Right One In.
Yeah, pretty much a very dumb version.
Xandalee, Let the Right One In. Grand Isle 2.
But let the right one in your vagina.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that this version, it doesn't have any bits missing. Were you able to come up with a face-off?
Oh, God, yes, but I want yours first.
Mine... So once again, I'm on painkillers. So for mine, I just replaced it with my cat and my dog.
Okay, your farting dog. All right.
My farting dog. My farting dog is Kelsey Grammer. And Detective Jones. And then Buddy is played... actually, no. I guess my dog has to be Walter, and Buddy is played by Citizen Pazuzu Khan, and my boy, and Fancy is got to be played by my cat, Lady Cattersley. And I'm gonna say the wife, his wife, Lisa, his princess, anything for his princess Lisa, or the lady detective. One of them are going to be played by my cat Kamala. Oh God. Why can't I remember my own cat's name right now? Kamala Khan. Jesus. Yeah. Cammy Kamala Khan. So, yeah, there you go.
Can play the guitar.
Meow, 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 meow.
God damn it.
Who do you have?
Well, mine Mine is a very decidedly British take on this American classic.
Oh, it's not Dr. Fu. I'm gonna
No.
eat your baby.
No. As Detective Jones, we have Eric Idle. As
Ooh.
Detective Newton, we have Natasha Demetria. As Fancy, we have Tracy Ann Oberman. As Walter, we have Harry Peacock. And as Buddy, we have Matt Berry.
Yay!
Yes. So it's basically taking your Toast of London and a bit of the Monty Python and putting them together in this movie.
I'm all for it.
Just because I really want to see Matt Berry as Toast in his sports coat. Going, you want me to sleep with your wife for $20,000? Like, no, I want you to kill my wife. Like, but I have to sleep with her first.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
It is Sports Fest.
Yes, it is sports vest. Like, do you mind if I wear my sports vest while we go at it? It's like, oh, that's exactly how I like it. I like young men.
What a man.
I know you do.
I think it was vulture.com that started a thing where they keep trying to pitch ideas for him, and they want to see him as Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
I'd pay to see it.
Yes.
Matt Berry. Were you able to find any KG wisdom?
If somebody tells you they'll pay you $245 to do 8 hours of work on 7 feet of fence before a hurricane, tell them no, or you can actually finish that work and not fucking baby it for 8 goddamn hours. I mean, Jesus, he was there at, like Nick Cage said, it's not even like noon yet. It's like 11 or 10 in the morning.
Yep.
And the dude stayed there until like 8 at night. And he hadn't done shit to that fence. He put up like one post.
Yeah, there was no fucking progress from when she came out with like, would you like a taste?
And even then, that's another thing of wisdom. If you're working on someone's fence and their wife comes out to flirt with you, you can walk away. Or you can just say, ma'am, I do not wish to have your flirtations flaunted upon me. And then you just go back to work. Or if you try to leave because you're being shot at and your truck won't start, fucking walk away. You don't have to go and deal with people. Just walk away. Yeah.
And also there's like, okay, you know, he could have, like, he asks if he could borrow Cage's car and bring it back in the morning. Cage is like, "What? So you could steal my car?"
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, you could always have him drop you off.
Yeah.
Like, there's an idea.
In Cage's defense, as soon as he says we're gonna be stuck here in the storm, he's like, "Well, have a drink." He's like, "I don't really drink, sir." It's like, "There's a hurricane coming. What else are you gonna do?" Yeah. He's been drinking all goddamn day, yes. But now he decides, "Hey, you should have a drink."
Yes, but then, like, after saying "I don't drink," then she's like, "I'm gonna make some mint juleps. It's my grandma's recipe. Would you like some?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, that'd be nice." Like, I thought you didn't drink, asshole.
Nick Cage has some really tremendously wonderful moments in this. And one of my favorites is when you can hear the wife is upset at Buddy because he's stayed out so late he can't even call a cab to get home. Yeah. And she's upset because he's not there with her and his baby. So they hang up. You can tell they're upset. And Nick Cage just stares at him like, happiness. It's like, what? God damn, dude. Read the room.
Cage is just kind of there.
He really is. And that's what's kind of beautiful about how he acts.
Like, they could take him out of this story and it wouldn't be as good, but it really wouldn't change the story much at all.
I honestly keep saying, and I really do mean it, we should just produce, or people should start making a movie where everyone knows what's going on except Nick Cage and have him star. And just have him kind of have him not even just like, freestyle it, but just react to what's going on and see if he can figure out the plot as he's acting in it. 'Cause that's kind of what he's
cinema
doing now.
nouveau.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of what he does now, where he's just like, yeah, read the script to me. I'm just going to put my sunglasses on, but that doesn't mean I'm napping. I'm just listening to you. Okay, sure.
If you sing to me and take off my glasses while you're in lingerie and find out that I've been asleep, I'm just acting.
Yes, and just keep my glass filled, please.
This one was hard to come up with any cagey wisdom because, I mean, this fucking movie.
I know.
If you start getting molested by a crazy man's wife, it's okay to say, "Hey, stop."
Yes.
and it's totally okay to tell somebody no.
Yes, exactly.
And with Cage's character, like, all he had to do to be on okay terms with him is just to not like let his wife seduce him or
I know.
like, that's it. Just don't accept her seductions and be like, no, thank you. I'm good.
They're just that old-fashioned couple where it's like, I hate you too, so I'm gonna flirt with this man. I'm gonna kill that man. Oh, baby, let's do it now. Like, I'm hard as diamonds. Let's do it.
Well,
like all those people.
I would also say that if with all that, like if you're going to have an affair with someone, try to make sure their spouse isn't in the house, even if they are asleep.
Which is exactly why I thought Matt Berry would be great in this. Where he just kicks open the door while Cage is like plastered drunk. Like, you didn't even knock. He's like, I know. Like, I'm going to begin fucking you in front of your husband.
Oh my
God. Like, put me over my husband, bend me over. I was like, all right.
This is how we do it in the little city.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I guess this is the time where I say, please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss on Apple Podcasts, especially over on Apple Podcasts and over on Podchaser. It helps people find us. And let's face it, we're running toward our inevitable demise. So we could still use as much help as we can. And please check out our stuff on YouTube with that awesome Adrian art and the stills from the movie. Also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Cage's Kiss. You can get awesome perks like stickers, buttons, ringtone from our theme song. And we give out bonus episodes once a month. This last one was on Samuel L. Jackson, the amazing Samuel L. Jackson. And sometimes, like thanks to Donnie's planning, we also have special game times. And we played Phasmophobia. That was a lot of fun. And I look forward to doing that again.
Yeah.
Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on the Twitters at Cage's Kiss. That's CAGESKISS. You can visit our website at cageskiss.com. And you can write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. Check out my other podcast about witches and history and witches in history and stories of all media. Bedknobs and Broomflicks. Also check me out as Lila in Dispatches of Disassociation and as Patrice and Lieutenant Murphy in Coyote's Bluff. Donnie, what you got?
I don't got it, that's for sure. I am the Boy Who Blew over on Pornhub. I also am in Coyote's Bluff. And I also do the thing called Wisdom in the Bottle over on YouTube under Unreal Goals on the YouTubans. I'm also something, God damn it. I'm also Twi'lek in progress, I think, on Instagram. I don't even know. I'm out there, and God damn you. I'm Unreal Goals on Twitter, and if you want to find me, just ask. That's all you got to do. And since our Adrian is still absent from our lives and our minds, but not our hearts, I am Stilgar the Twi'lek over on Instagram. But going back to not yet completely dead Adrian, you can find his fabulous, fantastical works at Leo the Fox on DeviantArt.
And on YouTube, and you can support his work on Patreon. Yeah. If you go to our website, cageskiss.com, you could see little bios for each of us. And there's a link for Donnie's Wisdom in the Bottle, a link for Bedknobs and Broomflicks, and a couple links for Adrian's DeviantArt, YouTube, and Patreon. And you get to find out a little bit more about our monkey producer, Al.
Yes. Oh, also our reviews on the website, too. Yes, these things exist.
Yeah, there's Adrian art on the website as well as Donnie's review. Adrian's art is the non-cage art. And sweet Jesus, I'm looking at your reviews and I'm just seeing little monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, and The Grudge, which reminds me that from this movie, KaDee Strickland was in The Grudge.
She was.
Yeah. She's in a bunch of stuff, but yeah, namely
she deserves better.
Oh, I gotta see how you liked Hell House 2 or whatever it is, the abandoned hotel or Abaddon hotel,
and even part 3. Ooh.
Oh boy. But until then, oh fuck! I didn't update this part. Donnie, distract them.
Yes.
Sing.
Thanking
Sing,
you for listening to our podcast.
Oh,
Find the gap.
Damn the torpedoes!
Damn the torpedoes! Fire the nuclear
weapons!
Fire the nuclear weapon!
I got that on on YouTube, all the his takes on that. I don't know, just listening to him makes me giggle. But how can I forget? Next week we're gonna be covering jujitsu. Yeah, finally. And we're going to have a very, very, very special guest with us, thanks to Donnie's work. And you can stream. Well, actually, you could rent Jiu-Jitsu on Amazon and Google Play, Apple TV, the YouTubes, Voodoo, Fandango Now, DirecTV, Redbox, and not to be confused with RedTube. And Microsoft. Donnie, do you want to tell them about our special awesome guest?
Yes, he is a living legend amongst the karate people in this world. He can kick your ass, and he makes kick-ass movies. He is none other than living werewolf zombie man, Len Kabaczynski. Indeed.
Yeah. You heard it here. So, stay tuned with us next week. Because it's going to be awesome. And Adrian is expected to come back from the grave.
Yes, because Len Kabaczynski will punch him in the face finally with our Patreon dollars.
My God, yes, please. Let's get some gloves for Mr. Kabaczynski.
Yes. Yeah.
We got to do this sanitarily.
Social distance my foot.
But until then, fix my goddamn fence.
Big city fencing.
That's the name of the porn version, Big City Fencing.
Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please. Kiss me.